Hello, 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 beautiful souls. Welcome back to Get Your Shit Together with Yana Kasperczak podcast. And today you're tuning in to yet another incredible episode of our special series, Your Journey of Becoming, where real women share the messy, the unfiltered middle part of becoming who they're meant to be. And it's not about the highlight reel, it's about the real thing, the real journey that they have been on. Because your dream life doesn't start when everything is perfect. It doesn't. It starts when you have had enough of playing small and you finally decide once and for all to go all in for it. And where you decide to go from surviving to actually living and thriving. So grab your coffee and let's dive in because today I'm joined by Konstantina Bellou. We call her Elena the Greek, so I'll call her Elena throughout the whole entire podcast. And she is not just an energy healer. She's a psychic medium, an oracle. She's a transformative conduit for celestial wisdom with her work rooted in healing at the soul level, at the core. Elena achieves extraordinary results that re- go through every aspect of your life, your mind, your body, and your spirit. It's the wholeness approach, and you're going to absolutely love her story. We already started chit-chatting and talking before. I'm like, oh my God, girl, we already started talking and sharing things that should be on the podcast. So we'll bring some of those things in perhaps, but I also love to start off with also a quick reminder in a way where this is a Get Your Shit Together podcast. We don't do the surface level kind of shit. We do the raw, the authentic truth. And there is no pretending here. And of course, we do use a tiny bit of foul language. Otherwise, the word shit would not be in there. Even my son said, because I have pens with with the name, and my son said, "Mom, I can't bring this to school because he's still in grade 7. I'll get in trouble for that word in there." I'm like, "Okay, I'll give it to your sister," because she loves her Sudoku as well. So, Elena, I would love to know, when did you realize that the life that you were living wasn't actually yours and begun to get your shit together?
That's a good question, actually.
Right down into the rabbit hole, the
Yeah.
bottom of it. Yeah, tell us.
There were many years that I kept repeating the same things over and over again. This is not life. This is not how we live life. 9 to 5 and just working to make amends with the basic expenses you have. And
Mm,
at the end of the month, there's no money. And this is not fulfilling. And this is not making me happy. I can be extremely grateful and appreciative for everything I have and for everything I'm working so hard for. Absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic. But it's not it. And this is not it. And before that, I was repeating again phrases that this is not life. This is not just life. Having to work, having to create a family, having to do this, to go vacation time, and let's repeat the same things over and over again. This is not life. There's something off here. There's something hugely off here. So the calling was coming over and over again since I was very young, since I went to school, since I went to my postgraduate degree, my graduate degree, everything you can imagine of, through every aspect of my life. And I had things I couldn't explain. No one could explain to me. I was always looking for answers that no professional could give me from any professional you can think of. I was always in search for more and more and more. I was like, there's something hiding in plain sight, hiding in plain sight. What is it? What is? And then because of all these questions, so that I think they come within us. So we are born with these questions. And there's always, for me, there was always a why. Why this? Why that? Why this? You know
yeah.
how some children can be extremely exhausting because they keep asking questions? I was that child. equally myself, okay, but at the same time, very condescending with my parents, with everything that they were giving me as a fact, but it was never enough. Through
Yeah.
psychology, I was doing some seminars and webinars and stuff like that. It was never enough. So there was always something more. And there were many breaking points, and this is not an answer. When you go to a doctor to find an answer and there's no answer, you know there's something more, that the answer is somewhere, but you don't know where it is. You can't
Yeah, you
see
have
it.
to dig.
You have to dig and you have to open up to more resources. You have to open up to things that are not accessible to you at this point of
Yeah.
time. And they haven't been so far, not through religion, not through medicine and doctors, not through psychology, not through any science you can think of and is plainly accessible to you in your everyday life. So I was more in that space every time, like there was a huge stop wherever I was, either as a student of IT skills, as a postgraduate degree on graphic arts, always a stop. This is not it. This is not it. When I was working for different things in different people, this is not it. This is not for
Mhm.
me. I can
Yeah.
be good enough. I can become exceptional at what I'm doing. I can love what I'm doing. I can be grateful. Yes, 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 but something felt off always. But I didn't have access to all these answers. I didn't have access to books. So in Greek, you won't find now, you can't find a lot of things in spirituality and spiritualism in the things we are doing. But back then, it wasn't available to us in Greek languages. It was available
Mhm.
everywhere abroad. When I opened up my mind a bit more to search things in English, I was, "Ooh, there's a huge source
Yeah.
of information from everywhere, literally, like
Too much
this."
sometimes.
Yeah, nowadays for sure, okay?
Yeah.
Nowadays for sure. So there were all these nudges and everything happening. And I was okay. Now I need to open up my eyes. I need to open up my mind. I need to open up the resources I have to
Mhm.
keep searching and to keep opening up. I was praying. I was asking saints, archangels to come for help before I realized that this is something that we use in spiritualism even
Yeah.
more. Okay, I was praying with the power of my heart. I was always praying, but I didn't know that this is how I do it, if it makes sense. I wasn't praying in the sense of I will take the prayer and I will read it, or I will learn it by heart and I will keep
Mhm.
reciting it over and over again. It was more of a prayer that was coming from within myself, my heart, my soul. Please give me
Sounds more like
solutions about this.
connecting.
Yeah,
It's
the
almost like
connection.
you're connecting with them, which goes beyond prayer, that
I
you're
know
just
you're tapping
become
it.
right. It's like in you're one and the same,
Yeah.
and yet it's like you know that they're there without even knowing, and that is also what referred to as wisdom.
Yeah, exactly that.
Hmm.
Exactly that. The interconnectedness, where the soul knows we are interconnected and we know we are interconnected as human beings and as spirit guides and higher selves and other beings, but I didn't know where to find these people, these beings, how,
Yeah.
and yet I knew. Okay, so I was praying for different things to show up in my life, to show me the way. And this, of course, started
Guidance.
unraveling.
Yeah.
Yeah. You talked about numbers before and you said something about 22, important for you.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you this because for me it was 33. Like my years when I was 33, I was a huge awakening in the way I
Yeah.
was feeling lost in every way possible. I was, okay, like Jesus Christ, now I'm going through this at his 33, at my 33. I don't know if this is something that happened for you as well,
Yeah.
but it was huge to wake up
Mhm.
as a wake up call, where it was difficult for me even to say that I want to change careers.
Yeah. It sounds like that was the moment that I was talking about where you finally realized that the life you're living was not actually yours. So at 33 was the
Yeah,
magic number for you where you're like, what the fuck am I
exactly.
doing here?
Yeah,
And I'm doing it wrong. Like
Yeah,
this is where we start to realize all the things that it's not to say that all the things that we've done are wrong, it's that it feels like it wasn't fully ours. We were living out this program, this conditioning that's been given to us. And all of us can relate to this, where each one of us received some form of what comes first, what comes second, third, fourth. You go to grade one, and then you all the way through high school, and you graduate. After that, you go to college, university, right? And if you fall off this path, something is essentially wrong with you. And then you also have a boyfriend, and you marry your first boyfriend as well, because if you don't, then something was wrong with you,
thank goodness I
right?
didn't.
And then yeah, right. And God forbid you do anything else. And then after that, after you have your boyfriend, you get married, you have a house, you have 2.5 kids. I always like to say in my case, right? The point five is having lost our first pregnancy, as you mentioned, 22. For me, the number two has been throughout my life as well. And number four is another number. And
Yeah,
number four is actually the most balanced number you could ever see. That's what it really truly means. Four is balance. Like anything that stands on four legs, put it that way. You're much more steady. Two legs, you're standing on two legs, you're balanced. And this is where I guess what do you call them? Even numbers
even,
are
yeah.
right. They're playing a role in there. So this is where for you, number 33 is the one where you begun to realize your spiritual awakening begins, where the spirit awakens and starts to say, we are not doing this anymore.
No.
Something has to change. And the things that start to change is becomes a lot more evident that we begin to notice. And that is the previous versions of us, they must die, right? In one way or another. So this woman can be born and reborn. So this woman can live. And
Yeah.
for you, there's been many of those versions. But which one stands out the most that that version of you had to die so this version of you can live and flourish?
Really, I can't answer that because I've been going through awakenings even since I remember myself as a child. Like
Mhm.
coming through and saying, this is not how it's done. Like even calling out my parents, like, why do you do this? This is not right. This is not how it's working. It's not gonna work like that. You try to motivate me by comparing me, for example, with other children or cousins and blah, blah, blah. We all go through that inevitably from what I have observed. But
Europeans especially, yes.
yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
always saying that this, I was even as a child saying that this is not motivating me. This is not helpful for me, at
Yeah.
least. So if you want to inspire me to do better, you could do it like that. I was giving
Mhm.
them the answers. Okay. There was no cheat sheet that they could use rather than what I was giving them already, or trying to have these vulnerable conversations with them, emotional conversations, but vulnerably opening up to each other and invoking them to open up to the level they could as adults, of course, because I knew I was a child still, okay, or how things. I really don't have any specific example to give you as which version of me was more painful as a death process, because even what I'm going through now is painful again as a death process, because the old me has to die. Like I was born and baptized Konstantina. Okay, you mentioned my name. Konstantina Bellou is my name. This is how everyone recognizes me. And Dina is my nickname, like a shorter name of Konstantina. It is the last two syllables. Okay. But Konstantina had to die, and Dina had to die for me too many times so far because the process that she knew innately as this is who you are, it wasn't working for anyone. Not for me, not for anyone else around me. Elena, because I felt even I was not 7 or 9 years old,
Mhm.
which I was asking myself, why wasn't I baptized Elena or Eleni, which is the initial name from the Saint Helena, is how we changed it. And I was, why wasn't I baptized Elena? So there was these questions in me And
Yeah.
I didn't have answers, okay? Elena also had to die, though, as well. So through these death processes we are going through, we are waking up more to self, the self. What Carl Jung says, the Jungian philosophy is very, very helpful for us spiritualists on this path because he was a therapist doing psychology, but he was also a spiritualist, a really good one. And
Hmm.
he talks about the different stages. And there were so many deaths that I can't even help myself to bring up at least one because everyone was painful as a process, experiencing that this is a dead end. This is a death process, okay, in a spiritual awakening. This is a dead end. And why? Because this worked like that, because this worked like that, because of this belief system that you have from your family, from the society, from this source of information of who you are, and this is not going to work anymore for me. So everything as a version that supported all of this can't exist anymore. Recently, I went through that death again. Like, I don't know who I am. And this time, I don't care. I'm gonna explore it as it comes. Like, okay, let's feel, when we go through the death process,
Hmm.
we don't feel attracted to anything, nothing excites us. This
Yes,
is,
we feel numb. Like as I'll refer to it also in this part of the world, we talk about zombies often. So it's like a zombie mode.
yeah,
Yeah,
where you feel alive but not alive
yeah,
because you live but nothing excites you. This is how we connect with the source, that nothing matters. Nothing actually matters. The
yeah,
death process connects us more with the source where we figure out that really nothing matters. If I paint my nails this color or red or white, it doesn't even matter.
yeah.
It plays a role and the purpose of how it makes me feel in the very micromanaged way. Like it makes
Hmm.
me feel because it is glittering that something magical is happening. Okay,
Yeah,
that's beautiful for this small minor moment. But in the grand picture, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I don't care
yeah.
kind of. So through that death, all you have to do and all I'm doing every time is allowing myself to be okay, not to feel that I'm missing out on something, not to feel that I'm late for something, because this is usually the trap. The
Hmm.
stress, I should be doing something, which I felt it initially, and then I was, fuck it all, it doesn't matter.
You're right.
Actually, and I can't be late at my own party either way, like the party of my life.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter. And when you allow yourself for that small first step of a nudge, a subtle nudge, oh, this would excite me. And you know what I started doing this time? Writing down on my computer all the notes I have in several notebooks about an online school I want to be creating.
Hmm.
No, yeah, about time. Not to have it only on paper at least. So
Yeah. No,
all of
I
them.
love that example that you just shared with how death feels like. Because in reality, when I watched quite a few death kind of shows, Brushes with Death, Survive Death, Life After Death, and people and mediums as well that are connecting with people who have passed. That stuff all has always fascinated me. I'm originally from Russia, and in Russia, this is a normal thing
Yeah.
where you're essentially like you're connected to those who have passed away long before you. And this is how death actually has been described, that it's just um peace. Like it's calmness, it's stillness, it's peace. You can't feel the negative feelings and emotions, but you can feel happy and joyful in those moments. And this is where I know, when I reflect back through my times when I was going through and feeling like I was dying or like I was dead, that just the zombie mode, is that nothing brought like life back into me. But there was always those moments, and those moments were often around people that I loved the most, that brought me back to life. And by bringing them by them bringing me back to life, which means a smile or a hug or a cute little comment or something that reminds me that I am alive and I feel love again. And then all cylinders just fire away
Oh.
and I'm alive again. And then after death, we experience grief, right? And this is where when we experience that grief, we all experience grief differently, right?
Yeah.
But we do experience that grief at the height or the depth that we each do. And sometimes it might be even for ourselves, it might be a bit more
Yeah.
bigger or a bit smaller and it's not so intense. Yes.
Sometimes when we go through that intense death, a lot of things are dying with us, within
Yeah.
us, and with us. Even connections we have, they don't resonate anymore. They don't make sense, at least for me, they don't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Friendships, even old friendships or connections, regardless, even with
Mhm.
relatives, there are things that I feel dead, that this is not me. The things I used to love, or the things, the way I used to want to connect and belong. And this is one of the latest things of my awakening, like another layer, the 1 millionth version, 1 millionth point, 1 millionth awakening.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
nonstop. At least once a month we go through it. Literally, we got 28-day
yeah,
cycle, and once a month we go through it. Guaranteed.
literally, yes.
Yes. So that's how many weeks sorry, how many months in a year? That's at least 12 months minimum.
Oh my goodness, I
But then when
hadn't
we
thought.
have go through rough times outside of our monthly cycle, then we multiply that.
It is very intense. And we as women have that thingy. I can say that we can live things intensely, more intense and
We
deeper
do,
than
yeah, we're
others.
connected to all the feelings and emotions.
Yeah, we are. And if we wouldn't do that, it wouldn't be so grounded for the masculine. Think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the minor deaths are very easy to go through. Okay, that's done. Let's move to the next one. So
Hmm.
what? It happened again.
Yeah.
But yeah, the major ones, I can't say it was only three or four. There were many more. And I think every awakening that is deep and intense just wakes me up into another layer of my reality, of how my current reality is created. And
Yeah.
it's not, you said something at the beginning of living your dream life. Even now, I can see that this is not fully my dream life, that I'm
Yeah.
living my first dream, but now another one has awakened.
Well,
That
yeah, because
has,
we will wake up to a new dream. It evolves as we do.
yeah,
The dream that we once dreamt of having our life, we have already lived it in one way or another. And then we woke
yeah,
up and said, this is not the life that I want. What the fuck?
yeah,
And then it's like there's another phrase I heard that we each have two lives. When the life that you live, and then the second life is when you realize that you only have one life to live.
yeah.
So when you realize that you only have one life to live, that's when you really go to town and you figure out how you actually want to live it. I also put in the phrase of getting your shit together. L-
Getting your shit together, because if you don't, no one else will do for you. And you
I
won't be
know,
happy
right?
as happy as you can be. This is the point. Like, I
Yeah.
know happiness is not a state of being of 24/7, but if you are happy with the shit you're going through because you are creating that for yourself,
Mhm.
that happiness, then you make it matter. Like, if I was going through the same shit for someone else's job or for something else that didn't resonate with me as much as this,
Hmm.
it wouldn't be satisfying enough or purposeful enough or worthy of going through all this shit
Yeah.
for something that doesn't resonate fully with me. I can be grateful, appreciative for everything life has given me so far, for all the opportunities, for all the people I've met, for all the people I connected even for 5 minutes or 1 second or a lifetime, and I am, but I also want better and more. And
Yes.
it's not my sole creation, but at least I know I'm co-creating that with others. I know I'm claiming it, I'm owning it, I'm gonna do my everything. It is something that will help me wake up in the morning, will help me go to sleep even at night because I love nights. I'm a night owl when it
Oh,
comes
really?
to
I
that.
used to be.
Yeah, I remember.
Until until one day I learned I would much rather wake up in the morning. I enjoy the mornings better than night because especially when the spring comes
Ah,
and
yeah,
birds are up at like 5 in the morning and you
yeah,
crack a window with that fresh, crisp dew, grass, and the birds, and the
yeah.
cats also like their food. So if I'm not up by a certain time, my cats know the time better than I do. They don't need to see the clock. And I've learned to become a morning person because for some reason I decided, right, this is
Yeah, that
where
is true.
everything begins, is we decide to do something, which means to cut away from all the other possibilities. And it wasn't easy because I used to wake up at like barely wake up and barely get my kids out of the door to the bus. And that's when I was going through some hard shit. And then little by little, now I wake up at 6:06. Even on the weekends, I can't sleep in.
Yeah, because your biological clock is set up for this time.
Yeah.
It's not set up for these days, but not the rest of the days. And I love that. The same goes for me, but I have exactly the opposite of that. Because
Yes.
everyone sleeps. It's really quiet. I can hear birds even at 3 o'clock, 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning that I'm
Oh, you
still,
definitely can.
yeah, I do. I still have at least that luxury. I can say that there are birds around me. Okay,
Mhm.
apart from chickens from the neighbor and
Roosters are probably up
roosters.
early.
Oh, yes, 24/7. And especially if I'm recording a course and meditations, the rooster will always be at the recording of the meditation because they just have to
Ye-
be there.
Well, then, you know what? Soundproofing a room or a space will make all the difference. And literally, it's just foam on the walls.
I I will entertain that because lately
Like,
everything has
I can
become.
share some things with you later on
I would
because,
love that. Yeah.
yeah,
But
it makes all
still,
the difference.
I love the windows open. I love the fresh air. This is my problem. And you can't escape the noise from the
So
neighborhood.
then the people that are meant to be for you will love all of that as well because I didn't grow up with roosters all the time, but I when I did spend time at my grandmother's place, they had roosters and chickens and ducks and dogs and everything. Nothing was allowed inside, no animals,
Yeah.
and cats and everything. And I remember roosters like really early, and like you say, throughout the day they're like nonstop.
Yeah.
And I
Non-stop.
remember that, and it's very nostalgic.
Is it?
It's very nostalgic, and guarantee there are people that didn't even grow up in those areas, but to them, yeah, just of course, to some people it would be triggering. They're not for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Those would be the people that they, even though they never experienced it, they would feel some kind of pull or connection to those sounds just in the background. That might be makes me think of like the gong when you hit the gong in the
Yeah.
middle of like meditation. A rooster might be just like an invitation as the gong.
A
That's
wake-up
your
call.
form of a gong where you are.
Yeah. This is how I take the wake-up call from the rooster. It's like always, wake up. I'm like, I'm hearing you, not
Yeah.
only me.
Even in the middle of meditation, it's a reminder to get back into it because we know the mind will drift and it will go somewhere else, and you're like, oh my God, I was supposed to be following a guided meditation, and I'm not even following the guidance. I'm guiding myself somewhere else, right?
Which is something I also like when people can drift away and return back to the meditation because there's healing taking place. We used to
Oh,
believe
yes.
Greek ancients about Morpheus, the god of sleep, how he will heal you, and they would
Mm,
put you into sleep to meet with the god so you can get the healing you need. And I was like, okay, there's a lot of wisdom in that.
yeah.
And even I remember my guides, let go. I'm supposed to be meditating with you, let go. But I will fall into sleep. Let go of it and fall
Yes.
into sleep. And I surrender. Okay, whatever you believe is perfect. But there's healing and training happening. When we fall
Yes.
asleep, when we meditate, when you probably have experienced that as well, where we sleep too much and we need extra hours of sleep and we feel like we are spaced out. Have you
Yes.
had that?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Many times. These are periods of great training and of where we offer the most help and support in other souls without being aware of it. And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, let's go with it, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever is needed.
And in those moments when we are so tired, I've heard that there was a study done on meditation, and it said 11 minutes of meditation can replace a 2 hour nap. Like you can feel like a 2 hour nap when you
It
meditate.
does.
And
It does.
especially when, as you were like talking about meditation, when you go into that sleep state, there's that sweet spot right in between the sleep and awake, and that is where we're meant to be letting go into. And whenever we hear that let go, I know for me it was just a reminder, stop trying to control everything. And that's the
Yeah.
human part of all of us. We all want, because we all want perfection, but none of us are really taught to understand that perfection is an illusion. It is something, it's an illusion, and in many ways, it is a fantasy because we each fantasize about what perfection looks and means like to us in this part of our life. And so we continue to reach towards that perfection, and it, just like the dream life, continues to, in many ways, like move away from us, move further away, that we'll never actually catch it because we realize that we never were supposed to be chasing it. It was always here. We just needed to remember to stop
That is,
looking, stop using our eyes to see, and just be. And
yeah.
meditation allows for that space.
And I will take you one step back. Who created in our minds that illusion of perfectionism or the idea of what is perfect? It is not created by our true selves, for sure. It is created
Hmm.
by the rules we think that this is how it starts, continues, and ends. So
Yeah.
this is not even a definition of perfectionism because it is created by a
Yeah.
fake belief that isn't actually true. I want to
Hmm.
go back to something you said before, and it is a key concept for everything. You talked about a decision. The moment you made a decision
Hmm.
that this is what I want from now on. This is the key concept of everything. Unbecoming, becoming, however you want to say, the life of your dreams, the life that makes your heart sing. It's a
Yes.
decision.
Yes.
It's a decision to be laser focused, to change habits, or to open up to different sources of information that will enhance who you are and show you the tools of becoming who you truly are, who you came here to be, regardless of past life unfulfilled wishes and desires beyond what you were raised to be through your dysfunctional family. As my family was dysfunctional, as every family is dysfunctional, okay? Beyond all these limitations, to explore yourself. And I didn't realize I was laser focused because this was a decision of mine done in a way that this is what matters. This is where my focus will be. I don't care about anything else. I
Mm.
realized it later on after I had made the decision. So if it is a calling that you want to follow something and you worry, will I be good at it? Am I enough for it? Will I enjoy it? Will it make me happy? Is this my
Yeah.
dream life? Because usually we don't even know what a dream life looks like. I was complaining at the job I had, and people were asking me, "Okay, and what would you prefer? What would you like?"
Right.
I was
Great question.
yeah, from the aspect of the salary, from the aspect of colleagues, from the aspect of the object I have in front of me as separate tasks. From which aspect should I answer? Because I have no clue. Definitely, I'm not happy with my salary. Definitely, I'm not happy with my colleagues. Definitely, I'm not happy with what I'm doing. I can't be happy enough because I studied this. I can't be grateful enough for all the things I have because with my colleagues I connect at least. Okay, we have a basic good communication, a
Hmm.
basic respect most of the times at least that I receive because I believe that I give it either way. But it doesn't seem enough. And I don't know because I haven't experienced it. Because
Hmm.
usually this is the trick part for everyone. We haven't experienced it, so we don't know how it looks like, how it sounds, how it makes us feel. We don't know what to expect. We don't know what we want to be creating. And that's absolutely fantastic. No one knows at first.
Hmm.
But that small feeling that I want something else, that gives you pushes in the back to keep
Yeah.
going. And that decision that you said as a key point, I'm making this decision that I want this, even if I don't know what it looks like, how it feels like, how it will be coming into place for me, what I need to be doing in order to be successful, to succeed on that. I don't know. I have no clue. I have a degree on information technology, a postgraduate degree on graphic arts and multimedia. Okay, but how do I get to where I want to be? As an energy healer, as do I have no clue which are my spiritual gifts and my abilities, what I can bring on the table. This is where I started, literally.
Yeah.
Like, no clue for anything. Okay,
No,
books,
but none of
online
us know.
courses. Yeah, books, online courses, online communities, everything I can do, there's always a solution. I just need to
Mhm.
open up myself to figure out the solution that is already out there for me. The
Yeah.
decision again, back to that.
Hmm.
And Yana, this is it, like the decision. That's all it is.
Yeah. It really truly is the decision. Everything starts with a decision. The decision to say I do or decision to say I don't. I don't know if you watch Love is Blind. They have an option, but the rest of us, when you are about to have a wedding, you don't necessarily have the option to say no because then why would you even go into the altar to say no? Because this is not Love is Blind. This is real life. But it is a really, sometimes it's not an easy decision. But the best decisions, the way I would describe that they came to and why I stuck to them is when we can all think back to when we were a child and we were genuinely really curious and fascinated about something. And when you think back, it instantly would come to mind what it is. For me, it was running free and wild and taking care of all the stray cats and dogs I could possibly find. It was finding them. It was finding cats and dogs in different places and bringing them to my own place, which was not my house. It was just under a little store. I found a hole. I was taking care of them. And to me, that was my fascination. Doesn't mean I'm doing something with it now. No. But it's an example of what my childlike curiosity led me to and how that curiosity that I experienced as a child still adds value to my everyday life. A perfect
Yeah.
example, we just came back from the cottage and one of my cats, the one that just lost his leg in February, so he's learned to be really good on three legs to a point where he snuck out of the cottage. And he's a big cat. He's a Maine Coon. He snuck out of the cottage and was hiding underneath our ATV, underneath the cottage, on top of the leaves. And we were calling him. He wouldn't even move, nothing. If I didn't have that experience or that curiosity that I followed when I was a child, I wouldn't know where to look for my cat, right?
Yep.
And the reason why I'm saying that is that throughout our life, we follow all of our curiosities. And the ones that we love and enjoy the most are the ones that feel like childlike curiosities that lead to a decision to follow the curiosity or not. And as an adult, often we shy away from following the childlike curiosities because, well, now you're a grown up. You got to be an adult and you can't be doing these things. But when we do, not only find peace and joy and happiness, we really truly find ourselves. And it does start with a decision to do it. And for me, that started with being curious about it. Like, can I? Can I do it? Can I not? And then we discover that, yes, I can. And I can even do bigger and better than that. But throughout all of our lives, now I want to ask you another question, as I love to ask certain questions during this podcast.
Fantastic. Why
And
not?
then, um, because it takes everyone on a journey to get to know you in ways that you might not even have thought of before. And
Yep.
I always love thought-provoking questions that get everyone to be like, oh, let me think about that for a second. And throughout our life, we go through these realizations that we will live through, essentially realizing that we live a lie in one way or another. So for you, what was that biggest lie that you were living with that felt normal to you until it broke you? And often it has even to do with the conditioning that we received, and we realize that's the biggest lie that we're living with that feels normal to us until it breaks us.
I can think of the recent one, that the recent that came through the awakening. How much I am connected, and each one of us is connected to the family's Wi-Fi. That is a
Ooh, I
terminology,
love that.
yeah, used by a therapist I was watching the other day, Jerry Wise from America, but I don't know where exactly. And he was talking about narcissistic families,
Mm,
how the adults of these narcissistic families grow up to be, with what kind of beliefs, and so on and so forth. So it's good. I'm not saying that one of my parents or either were or both were narcissists, because I don't think they were. But there were some traits they had from this category of beingness, if I can say
yeah.
that,
Mhm.
that made me realize that this was my whole life. I was dumb.
Mm.
Have you ever felt that feeling that you don't occupy your full body? When you meditate, you may have the feeling that you occupy your full body when you're doing a body scan, for example, or when
Yeah.
you are relaxing in your beingness, which that encompasses, of course, the physical body. For me, I had years of feeling specific stuff in my energy that I couldn't excuse or understand or explain energetically
Mhm.
until that family Wi-Fi as a terminology came to my awareness. And I was, oof, that was it? Really?
Yeah.
So understanding that many energies in our own system are not ours. So, no matter what you do, how much shadow work and inner work you put in, you realize that it's not the key answer. There is a connection, you're gonna rip it off, replace it with a different belief, or you can build up on confidence, on self worth, self esteem. Absolutely fantastic, needed, or self love and self care. Absolutely, yeah, we weren't raised with these terms in our society, even. Okay, but realizing that half of the things I'm experiencing in my energy has to do with my family's Wi Fi, parents, their parents. I was, damn, half of my energy is not even mine. I was,
Mhm.
okay, so now what? Disconnect consciously every single day from that energy.
Mhm.
Even physical pain, like a back pain on my right wing, or the left knee, or the right knee, or the lower back pain, these are all fucking generational things going through my family to me, and literally when I've done sorry, work to release the personal factor, how it affected me, or how I was adding up personally on that dysfunction,
Mhm.
energetically, that was coming down to the physical body. Then I had to figure out more, and I didn't know how to search for that more. What is that more? Okay, so I can see when my mom's voice comes as mine or my dad's voice comes as mine. I can work on that and clear it up and release it even more and realize that this is not actual me, but the programming of how I was raised, subconsciously programmed to actually be in that space.
Mhm.
Yet there's still something more that doesn't feel mine, that it doesn't feel like as an empath. We are absorbing energies and energies.
Yeah.
No, it's not that. It's not even the grid work, the energy grid work I'm doing. It's not even that. It's not even the other thing. So what the heck is this? And this is my hugest recent, at least, realization, where I realized that that subtle doubt that exists within me. It's not even mine. It's not that I
Yeah.
don't trust myself or the results of my work or what I'm bringing out, or I don't trust myself in my personal life or as a human being or as someone's friend. It's not a lack of trust, that voice of the doubt, or the stress. That guy was talking about the stress that runs through the family bloodline and the family's Wi Fi or super soul, as he called it. He used spiritualist terms for that, and I was, oh, I like this. It makes sense to my brain at least, or to my
Yeah.
perception. So half of my energy is not even mine.
Right.
Okay, this is why my shoulders have broadened through the years because I took on a lot of things as a
Yeah.
woman in my family that I have to take care of everyone in the family and this and that and that and oh, now it makes
Yeah.
sense. Now I realize why I'm not occupying my whole body. At least I don't feel I do. My essence, my core essence, okay, it doesn't occupy my whole body. So when I started feeling into that and disconnecting consciously from family's Wi-Fi, I realized one thing, that the energy of my body was shrinking. I was, okay, now it makes me feel more me, more aligned, more authentically expressed in this life, in this body. I was, damn, that voice of the doubt, that voice of stress, that feeling of there's more into this body that is not mine, and I'm not supposed to be carrying it.
Hmm.
So I started doing some reverse engineering in my energy, saying, okay, I'm transmuting a lot of generational stuff. I'm okay with that. Obviously, I signed up. Remember it or not, it doesn't matter. I signed up, I'm gonna do it. But after the transmutation, there's gonna be a reverse. I want to be receiving support because my mom gave birth to me to support me for who I am and for who I am becoming, okay?
Hmm.
Regardless of my age. My grandparents gave birth to my mom. They were supposed to supporting her, to be supporting her through her life. And I don't know if I think it is happening in many countries, not just mine, that children are supposed to be supporting parents,
Mm.
not as children, as adults. Okay, I get that. I'm gonna do that. That is respect to myself by respecting my parents. But I'm not gonna put all myself into supporting fully my parents or my grandparents. So whatever that we were doing generationally is not working anymore because there is a heaviness and exhaustion I carry and I feel because of all the previous generations before me. So we're gonna reverse engineer everything, and it's gonna take a bit of time for me to keep investing on that daily because it's a huge change in the mindset. Okay,
Yeah.
so far there was all this obligation coming down from a generation to a generation. I even heard a taxi driver years ago, a couple of years ago, in another city. If you believe it or not, Yana, he was talking about how giving birth to a child and investing money into the child for food, for nutrition, for basic stuff and school, it's a good investment because they're gonna take care of me when I grow old. I was like, you didn't say that. No, you didn't say that. You didn't say that to me now. That was going inwardly as a conversation. I'm sorry. What do you mean? So you are bringing a person into the world, a human being, you're feeding it, him or her, raising them to an adult because you are investing money. That's what he said. I'm investing money so they can take care of me when I won't be able to take care of myself. I said, what do you mean by
Yeah.
that?
There's a lot of people that do have that mentality. And then there's those who don't want to be a responsibility for others, that they will do what it takes to live their best life on their own terms and not have to have someone else take care of them. It is also a mindset to be living in that way, living for longevity, versus living for my, I will be taken care of later on in life. Because when you're living for longevity, you'll do all that you will learn on your journey that is required in order for you to be even able to open a pickle jar when you're like 80 or 90 years old without needing help and assistance. And there's reasons why people can do those things on their own when they're seniors and reasons why they can't. And the difference, the biggest difference is that there's those who have chosen to do the easy things so their life becomes hard. And then there's those who choose to do the hard things so their life becomes easy.
I get that. I
Yeah.
don't get, though, why would people consider a human being as an investment for the future? Like that was beyond me.
Yeah.
I don't mind being there as your child, helping you, supporting you in your path, in how you grow up, in ways I can, and I'm
Mhm.
ready to do. But my whole purpose is not decided before I was even born by you. Does make
Mhm.
sense?
No, I get it. And this is, I know throughout all of our lives is like now you and I, we also learn that some things we simply will never fully get and understand.
And I'm
And
glad.
and
I'm
at the
glad.
same time, this is where we just leave it where it is. And as you were talking about, the weight on your shoulders, I know many of us, this is how we also become aware that we're carrying the weight of our shoulders. And it comes through in different ways, but at the core, it's because we want to help someone or something or fix something, maybe even in the world where we truly don't have any control over those. And what
Yeah.
I've learned is that it's the phrase of circle of influence. And circle of influence simply means that if I am in that circle of influence, then I can do something about it. For you and I, we're in the mental health space,
Mm-hmm.
right? I feel like it's fair to say that both of us are in that mental health space, and that's
Yeah.
our circle of influence. And I remember, especially during lockdowns, there was a lot of things, a lot of triggers coming up, and I, honestly, I couldn't stand a lot of parts of the what was happening in the world, and I felt responsible for it. I had a lot of neck pains and I had shoulder pain because the body will show signs of the weight that we're putting on it. And for me, that's where it was showing. And sitting with myself and recognizing that this is not in my circle of influence. Yes, it hurts. Yes, I
Yeah.
want to do something about it. But the way that I can do something about it is as I can work with a person who is in that circle of influence and help them with their mindset and help them get their shit together so then they can go and influence. Obviously, I wouldn't tell them what to do and how to do it, but by
Yeah.
you becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally want to do good in the world. Like,
Yeah.
simply put. And this is our circle of influence, just working with those people that we don't even need to fully understand certain things, and we won't. But in some areas, like the mind and the soul and the spirit, we can be the experts of it and understand it and leave everything else for others to understand and deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Sometimes it can be hard that way, but it becomes easier over time. And that's what you're talking about. It's like that when we go through our life, the essentially emotional pain can become, it transfers and creates physical pain in the body. It turns into physical pain.
Always.
And this is how our
Always.
body learns to communicate with us because it always has been talking to us through physical pain, but none of us have been taught how to
Pay attention.
understand it,
Mm.
right? The language of the actual pain.
Even the physical body is energy. So if we don't understand it
It's
from one
stuck
perspective,
energy. Yeah.
yeah, we will understand it from another perspective.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter if it takes a bit of time for us to understand through the physical pain that this is what is happening, or this is where I have to pay more attention to,
Hmm. Yeah.
instead of. this that didn't resonate with me. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely.
Right. Okay. So my next question for you, as I know we're getting close to the end, and I do have questions that I like to ask, so I'll try to go through them as quickly as I can to really get to the core and the middle part of your journey. What was that enough is enough moment for you where you knew you either had to change or stay stuck?
I always love to change. I always love to explore new perspectives. Even when I start feeling stuck, I have already started before I feel stuck, the work I need to
Hmm.
get over that. As a minor obstacle, as that feeling of stuckness, I can't stay the same. I can't stay with the same beliefs. I can't stay with the same ways of viewing life or myself or understanding life and energy and beliefs and how we can awaken more to who we are. I always love the change. It feels very boring
Yeah.
and I just need to stay. There are always too many moments where I said enough is enough, enough with feeling this, enough with feeling that, enough of being in this state of being.
Hmm.
And there's always movement and change and shift. Okay, what is a better perspective to see this? What is a better perspective to view this? How is it more productive to keep that in my mind or to work through that?
Hmm.
For me, it's like we never stop. I never stop changing things or seeing them, examining them from a different perspective.
Hmm.
Where before, if we had this conversation a few years ago, you would see a different Elena. I was too open, too easy for me to understand literally everyone's perspective. Now I have shut it down and off. I don't
Hmm.
want to understand anymore. I want to be creating something that feels healthy, is healthy, mentally wise, emotionally wise, allowing you to open up to who you are, to experiencing yourself, to creating a different life, a
Hmm.
whole different Elena. Like you wouldn't believe that, how different I
No, I
was.
I do because we do if the 28-day cycle that we're talking about is so if we go through the 28-day cycle and we are literally meet a new version of ourselves each and every month at the bare minimum, that's 12 times a year, that it would make total sense that after these 12 changes that you went through, you are not the same Elena. And a year
Mm.
from now, you definitely won't be the same Elena. You'll be 12 Elenas
Different.
away, right? 12
But
Elenas apart, evolved.
even tomorrow, I'm not gonna be the same.
Yeah,
This is the thing, like,
exactly. Even 365 days a year on top of that.
exactly.
So on this journey called life, what did you lose that you didn't expect to grieve?
That's a tough one. A lot of things I didn't expect to grieve. I've grieved everything, even every version of myself
Hmm.
that I have to change, rearrange myself about how I feel, about people, about things, about everything. I'm collapsing and rebuilding. I didn't expect to grieve all of these things. I do,
Hmm.
though. I do. And every time something is changing, I grieve even that. I didn't. There's not one thing I can say that. I didn't expect to grieve that. I grieve everything. It feels
Hmm.
normal, it feels natural. And this is the biggest respect I can pay to myself and to each and everything in my life. I grieved friendships. I've grieved the version of myself that could entertain these friendships, even the version of myself that I cannot entertain these friendships. I think friendship is the one thing that hurt the most, if it makes sense.
Hmm.
But it was mostly losing or becoming more of myself and not being able to entertain that.
Hmm.
Doesn't make sense.
No, it does make sense, right? We we all experience grief, as I even mentioned earlier. We experience grief in different ways. Some
Yeah.
of us, we don't even get to experience too much grief, especially like through the younger years, because our parents might try to protect us from it, from loss, because grief is experienced from loss, right? It's losing something or missing something. And we feel sad about it because we feel like it's gone forever,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes it can even be, let's say, a toy you had as a kid. And that comes to mind, like, man, I had this toy as a kid. And to this day, I still grieve the loss of it because I didn't even know where it went, right?
Yeah.
Or in any particular day, it might be something different. If you ask me that today, I'll have one answer. You ask me that tomorrow, I'd have a different answer because I'm a different version and different memories, different triggers come back to life. In this particular moment, there's part of me that grieves or is grieving having moved from our home country and literally sharing one luggage between my sister, me, and my mom, and
Wow.
going across two borders to get to Canada.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, literally leaving everything and everyone behind and only having either, I can't remember if it was an hour or 2 hours, but literally very little time to say goodbye to all of my friends before we
Yeah.
left the country, that they would never see me again. And I've never seen them since. Right. So,
Wow.
and that's friendships. Those were my first friends, real friends that
In
I
the
grew
best
up with
case. Yeah.
that teaches us, that creates some kind of a program that I am now understanding as I just turned 40 uh, on the 5th of right of May, and I'm now understanding the depth of all those, and we grieve these realizations as well.
Yeah.
I am grieving the loss of that Yana, 13-year-old Yana, that left one country, flew over to another country, crossed one border, drove through a whole country, crossed another border, only to see her father being half the size that he was before he left. Right?
Wow.
So it, for me, it created a block of that point of arrival. The point that I arrive at a certain destination, meaning success as well, that pull in the shoe. This is where we'll self-sabotage, we'll procrastinate, we'll avoid, well,
Yeah.
the program, the autopilot is so intelligent and we are more intelligent, but this is where we gotta tap into understanding what's going on, why
That
it's
that's
going
not
on.
that's not self-sabotaging. No, that is you. Since you arrived at a new point of success, of the level of who you are, there is something still there within you that needs to be grieved properly so you can move freely even further.
Mhm,
That's how I view it. Like, okay, yeah, we arrived there. I'm not self-sabotaging, but there's still something in me that if I set it free, if I let it go, if I grieved it properly, then I will be even more free to go further. This is how I view every awakening. Like, I get to a point,
mhm,
I get to reach to some level of whatever is that defined as success, okay? Not only work-wise, but also personal growth. And then there's that little space that still needs some decluttering. So I will go within, it will be brought up as a memory to me, or it will come as a feeling, or a memory of a feeling, or a memory of what I experienced, so I can clear it up, acknowledge it first,
mhm,
see it as part of mine, so I can move further even more freely. So yeah, I love that you brought that
mhm.
up.
Yeah, and see, we talk about the same things just in different ways of how
Yeah.
we each understand what is happening on it's the body and the soul level connection, right? Where the soul knows and it's trying to remind the body.
Yeah.
And the body is programmed by other people and experiences that we've been through to now either do something about it or not do anything about it. And once we make that decision, we can't really fully unmake some decisions. And then
No.
the decision to heal, we can't really unmake that decision either, because once we decide and the body is like, okay, you're not going back, because every time you go back, this is what I will do. And it will make us feel bad. And this is where the way that it makes us feel bad, because it's trying to teach us to go deeper and within. And the way that it will do that, we will find ourselves through our autopilot system, through the default programming, sabotaging, procrastinating, and avoiding doing things. And those
Mm.
are the teachers that show up for us that make us feel bad. And this is where healing must take place. As you're talking about, you go within, you
Mm-hmm.
understand it, or you pretend to ignore it and not do anything with it, as I know I've done that for some years as well. And when we do that, we're suffering. We're choosing
Yes.
suffering, and we're choosing it unconsciously until we become conscious, and then we'll argue with it for a while, right? We'll
From that
argue with,
perspective, yeah. Yeah.
right? And
We
then
can't try to ignore, but it will show up. Yep.
we can't ignore, it's literally
No.
like a baby that needs a diaper change, and
Mm.
it has a rash, and it's gonna scream, it's gonna cry until you change that baby. And this is like how we become that baby with a rash that we have to be addressed, we got to be dealt with. So every day we're doing something towards the life that we really want and dream and desire. For you, what does getting your shit together actually looks like in real life right now as you're going through it?
Going deeper and deeper and never stop searching as to why I feel this, why I feel that, what is going on with me. I never stop asking questions. I never stop investigating myself, understanding which voice is what belief, where it comes from, why, and what happens. All these kind of questions I always, every day, not always, every single day. There's no day that I won't be doing this kind of work.
Do you have
No
anything
day.
like specific that you do every single day? Like the
Hmm.
journaling or any kind of process that helps you to tune in or tune
I have
out?
I have done this through the years almost methodically with reverence. Mindfulness meditation, not 21 or 28 days, but months. Mindfulness meditation of 5-10 minutes, journaling every day for specific periods of my life. And because I have applied all the tools I'm usually suggesting also, or I have in my courses, all the tools I have applied them for months and months and again. Even when I came to a point of, okay, this is enough. Now I have to stop with this tool and I have to apply a new tool. Usually, meditation is my number one go to, regardless of the day, night, time, or week of the day, or whatever. Meditation is non negotiable for me.
Mhm.
Usually, every night I go to my bed, even if I don't sleep, I will sit with my energy. I will do a normal cleansing of my energy and I will start pulling myself back in again, recentering, rebalancing, and asking questions. What happened through the day? What could I have done better or differently? Or did I like what was done today? Or could I have done something better that will make me feel more in alignment with myself? I'm always going through this every
Yeah.
single day. Usually, the work I'm doing is more mental because I have filled up too many notebooks by now for
I know.
with
Yeah.
thoughts, with processing of emotions. This is how I created the breakup letter, a technique with 5 steps of a journaling exercise. Because I was looking for answers that I couldn't find because I wanted to create some kind of shift and change without knowing where I'm headed to. So many of my tools came to happen because I needed them
Yeah.
and I'm applying them. I haven't stopped. But yeah, I keep filling up my notebooks. I keep doing meditation. I keep opening up my energy for some clearance of that level, regrounding myself into my body, not necessarily to the earth, but grounding my full sense. essence and sense in my body because most of us are disconnected with our bodies, okay? These are like a normal day for me, an everyday thing
Mhm.
to do. Even when I'm relaxing, before I will sit with myself to relax, I will be like 5 minutes of breath in and out. Wim Hof. I love
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Wim
he's
Hof
awesome.
and the breathing exercise he does. I
Mhm.
love chanting. And even if I don't invest specific time on chanting, I will be opening up YouTube, finding a couple of songs where I know the lyrics, or I will be opening up the lyrics. I will be singing because the the sound, the voice, they create specific vibration. The feelings getting out through that song create a specific vibration that is regrounding and healing. Does
Mhm.
this cover? I
No,
think.
that's perfect, right? It gives an overview essentially of what you've done, what you do, what
And I
works,
keep
what
doing.
doesn't, and gives ideas for everybody else what they can do as well. And with sound, 100% agree with you. Like singing or even just simply humming can
Humming.
help us. There's a reason why I know this advice might be healthy for some people, but I would also argue with this advice. It just there's a healthier way of dealing with it. But I know the advice is screaming into the pillow, right? So,
Yep.
I mean, great advice in the sense of it just means release the voice and vi allow your own vibrations to help you heal. And so instead of screaming, it's meant to be just humming, like hum. And the humming itself calms the nervous system down. But screaming, it causes us to lose our voice.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that if you need to do that, if something needs to come out of your chest, I have cried
Of
without even a
course, yeah.
sound. Without a sound, like a huge coming out from my heart, from my soul, and that was a
Yeah.
relief. Anything we need. Years ago, I remember someone telling me, go out and scream and yell and swear. I can't do that. Yeah, you can. No, I can't. I haven't done it since then because it doesn't resonate with me.
Exactly. That's a great word, resonate. It has to resonate with us because if it
Yeah.
doesn't resonate, we're not gonna do it. Just like you were talking about journaling. Journaling resonated with me. Now, once in the blue moon, it does.
Yep.
Right? Because it's like a tool, it's a medicine that,
Yep.
like you said, you're not necessarily using the same thing all the time. Meditation, yes, but everything else kind of changes based on what feels right now. It's like if you have different colors of the outfit in your closet, you're not going to wear the same color every single day. You're going to change it
Yep.
up because today you're feeling red, tomorrow maybe purple, day after red and purple.
Yep.
Like mix that shit up and have fun. And I know
Yep.
there's many women listening right now, and I want you to talk to that woman right now who's feeling stuck in that dreaming, doubting, and overthinking phase. What would you say to her that might finally get her to move that she is not ready to hear?
Just be yourself. The most simple advice I have kicked people's asses to get moving on. I didn't enjoy it. They did. I didn't. Okay. I've used many different ways and techniques for people to find that spark within them and listen to that. It doesn't matter. Just be yourself. Just do yourself. I know how that sounds in English, but
Yeah.
just do it. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
And usually there is a lot of doubt, a lot of noise. How I call it, it's noise. The doubt, the fear, this, what others will say, will they accept me? Believe me, I am a Christian Orthodox, I'm doing tarot, okay? I'm talking to dead people. And all we do in Greece is go and light a little candle for someone and read the prayer or call a priest to read the prayer for the dead ones. That's all we do usually. And that's great for their honor and their memory, okay? But I speak to my dad who's dead. I speak to my uncle who's dead, to my
Mhm.
nana. Go and just be yourself regardless. The most simple advice, it's not ass kicking, it's not complicated, it's not something, wow, yes. Whenever I find a difficulty, even getting out of my comfort zone for anything, literally for anything, you would say it becomes easier. Yeah, it does, but there's still that feeling of this is out of my comfort zone, and that's
Right.
very fantastic to have because it is just a reminder that I'm doing something new and exciting. So, whenever you are overthinking, over doubting, putting yourself down, gaslighting yourself, remind this to yourself. Just be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just be yourself.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And
Mm-hmm.
someone asked me of some years ago who you want to become from now on. And I was thinking with my guides, I want to be more courageous, more confident, more aware of what I can do. And I was saying this is all bullshit because this can exist for a specific period of time and then they will feel outdated and not in full alignment with me. So I will have something new to embrace. So I
Mm-hmm.
need something that will keep me grounded in my own beingness in an expansive way. And what I came up with of who I want to become from now on was a small mantra: be true to yourself and be your true self. So every action, if I am true to myself and if I am my true self, that's all that I need. That's all that I need. That's all that I can use and all I can be.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And it's a very simple advice, and yet it's not, right?
Yeah.
We all know and understand that the simplicity itself eh, can become overcomplicated in our own lives, trying to figure out what that actually is, who who am I truly? And it's a journey that I invite each and every one of you who is listening to take on, to go on that journey of self-discovery, really truly getting to know yourself and having someone on that journey that will help and support you and remind you and push you when you need to be reminded and pushed to always continue chasing your own life and your own dreams. And that this is also where we live and exist.
Exactly.
So thank you so much, Elena, for sharing your journey so openly today. Please go show her some love and follow her and check out her links down below. I put everything around all of the podcasts once they are uploaded. So make sure you check her out and follow her. And she has a book as well that you can see, the Golden Book of Creation. So you want to go and get
It's a
that book
small one
and listen to it.
and a good
Yeah,
read, I believe.
yeah. And you know what? Sometimes, but for me, I love the smaller the book, the more excited I am to read because I know that there is all the fluff is removed and all
Yeah.
the good things that are need to be in there are in there. And that's why if I can buy a summary of the book and get a summary of the book, I do that because I, for me, one of my triggers is time.
Yeah.
And when it comes to time, there's certain things that I don't necessarily want to be spending time doing. And fluffness doesn't really help to get to the point. Sometimes it can just confuse the mind a little bit too much, especially for someone like myself where my mind is all over the place with ADHD, right? It's like a ping pong ball everywhere. Um, and if this episode hit home for any one of you, please share with a woman who also needs to hear it. Because if it hits home for you, it's going to hit home for somebody else. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast, the Geisha Together podcast, so you never miss an episode because not all of them are actually live like this one on Facebook. Some of them are pre-recorded and they're only going to be available on the podcast of your choice. And on Facebook, it's only available live for 30 days afterwards. It's poof, it's gone.
Gone.
So thank you, everybody. Until next time, keep showing up, keep becoming, and sometimes unbecoming so you can become. And a reminder that you are not behind, you are not alone, you're not too old, and you're not too young, and you're right exactly where you need to be, and you're right on time. So thank you, everybody. And until next time, bye.
Bye.